somebody else, it's important to share. And so, again, I'd like to welcome you if you are joining us on this Zoom tonight, or if you are watching in our live feed in the Healthy Living Facebook group that we have for our team. It's a little dark here in my vehicle. My friend Brenda is driving, so don't worry, I'm not driving and doing this. Something neat about Plexus is it not only has helped me with my health, it has also given me the freedom to travel, which has always been a dream of mine. And so I just snuck out for a quick weekend trip to Fort Myers Beach to see how my friends are doing there with the cleanup and the rebuilding. And so I am actually just on my way back from the Minneapolis airport driving home to Devil's Lake, which is about a 6.5 hour-ish drive. But because of Plexus, I have the freedom to do that and the freedom to work from my phone. So here I am. This is real life, like Kelly and I and Danette were just talking about. And that's what Plexus is all about. It's real life people sharing their stories and their heart with the masses. And so tonight, we do have a very special guest with us that was willing to jump on and share her health story. Kel, I'm going to just give it over to you here and have you introduce our amazing guest.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. Yeah, I have known Danette for years now. I wouldn't even want to count back how long, probably, right, Danette?
Yeah.
Danette works as a dental hygienist on the other side of the river in the Minnesota side. And I've known her just for a long time. We met at church, and her daughter was on worship team for a while with me until she grew up and got married and now has a family of her own. But I can just remember thinking, I guess when you're new to Plexus or new to anything, all you can operate from is what you know, right? So I just always assumed everything was prescription meds, right? I didn't know anything about natural health or healthy living or any of this supplementation business. It was very foreign to me. And I can remember Danette reaching out to me once I had started sharing. And she came to me with a knowledge of supplementation, which was so foreign to me because I just didn't think anybody knew anything about, right? Because you just have your own frame of reference. And I thought, you know what? She is going to end up teaching me something about this. And she really has. And it's just been a joy to not only be able to help her on her health journey and her struggles, but for her to train me more and to be just a sounding board for me when I had issues too early on, when I didn't understand everything, because she had way more experience in this than I did, for sure. And now it's just been a joy to have her on our team and actively sharing. And I just want to pass it over to Danette to give her testimony, or her pleximony, as we call it. Okay. Thanks, Danette.
Thank you. I don't even know for sure when my problems started, but I know in my probably my mid-20s, I had a lot of trouble with sinus infections and lots of antibiotics. And it took quite a while. I did finally get a real good allergist who was able to help me take care of that part of things. But I think that just all of the antibiotics were maybe the beginning of some of the slide. After that, probably, I think what maybe tipped to where it got really bad is probably maybe even 15 years ago now. I had a really severe pneumonia that put me in the hospital, and I was on antibiotics continuously for 14 days, IV. And after that, it seemed like I could never get my stomach straightened out. And I never, ever connected it with the gut balance being knocked off because of the antibiotics. At that point, I had seen my primary doctor, and he diagnosed GERD. And, pretty much you start with the avoidance of things. leave certain foods alone, but they put me on Prilosec right away, good old Prilosec, and you're supposed to take it for 14 days and then go off of it.
Mhm.
And, and then when it would, the problems would come back, they'd say, well, do your 14 days again and then go off of it. Well, it got to be more and more. And I ended up in a GI specialist's office, and they did a scope to find out, well, is there anything wrong down there? Well, couldn't really find anything. So they moved me from Prilosec, and they had me on it all the time for a while. After a while, that wasn't effective. So they moved me to Protonics, their big gun. And then gradually kept telling me, okay, first you can't, the food restrictions kept getting more and more and more, basically, first line is no caffeine, no alcohol, no chocolate. Then after a while it was, no spicy foods, no onions, no citrus, and all of this, in all of this time too, most people don't know, but a medication like Protonics, Kelly, what do they say, 8 weeks is probably the max that you should be on it.
Yeah.
I was on Protonics for over 3 years.
Yeah.
And my symptoms kept getting worse, and they would bump the dose up. They weren't, not once during this whole time did anyone say anything about an overgrowth of Candida. It was, or asking me to change diet other than taking away all of these things. They basically wanted to throw a pill at it. And when the pill didn't work, I got told by someone, either you take the pill or you deal with the symptoms. And at my age, I thought, this isn't acceptable. I can't do this for the rest of my life. So I just, and I think this is a God thing. I don't know who believes what, but I had a patient tell me about a naturopath that he was seeing that was helping him with inflammation. And I said, well, do you think she would work with stomach stuff? And he said, probably, it's worth a try. So I got a hold of this lady. She's out in Park Rapids, and went out to see her. And she was the person that got me started on my road to health. She did some testing, found out that my yeast numbers were off the charts. I mean, it was so messed up. I had some bacterial strains that were way too high that I should not have had. I had some others that were non-existent. They couldn't even find them in test results. And one of the first things she asked me was, what do you eat? How do you feel after you eat? And at that point, pretty much everything was making me feel sick. And the other thing that happened was I started getting oral thrush, and I had never had a problem with that. Well, that screams yeast.
Mm-hmm.
So she got me started on some probiotics, some different probiotics. Also took me completely off sugar for a while. We had to get the yeast under control. And it wasn't very long, and I started to feel better. It was at that point that I found out about Kelly and Kelly doing the different Plexus products. I had been seeing this doctor about once a year, and 3 months before I was due to go in and see her was when I had my first formal meeting with Kelly. And I told her, you know what, I'm going to go off of the things that she's got me on, start with the Plexus and see how it works. By the time I saw my naturopath, I was feeling so good. And I asked her, I told her, okay, this is what I did. This is what I'm using. Is this okay? And she said, absolutely. She said, these are good products. And I didn't find out until after this. I know Marla Stegman too from years ago. She was a workout teacher that I had. Marla used to see this same naturopath. And she said, oh, I know her. And she said, yep, Plexus is great. And so that was a big part of all of that, to hear from somebody that I already knew and trusted that, yes, this was great stuff. And, I never started this thinking that I would lose any weight. I did. And I was like, wow, this is great. And just working with it and feeling better. It took me a little while, but I got my husband convinced that this was okay stuff. And he started using it. He's been using it for, I don't know, probably a year and a half already. And he lost some weight and he's feeling better. So that's kind of where I am.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what gut health can do. And I always say it, with time and consistency and education, I think, is a big part of it too. You have to understand what it is and what it isn't. Right. But even with you talking about, your naturopath basically validating, I can tell you one thing, or Kelly Carlston can tell you one thing, but to get a third party validation, I think it's just powerful. Somebody that has seen numerous people benefit from the products, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's been at it for a long time. So she's seen a lot of things. And I really trusted her before I started all of this, but just to know how the products worked once I started them, I thought, yep, this is good, because it could have gone back the other way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's common stuff. And it's so good that people are talking about it, right? Because I think so many people struggle in silence, right? We think it's normal. We think as we age, or we think because, oh, my mom had this issue, so therefore I have this issue, right? And we're just like trained to think that way. And it's so not right. It's just not right. So change that in your family tree. It can totally be changed, and it can be changed down generations even, because we know that even pregnant mommies are going to pass that microbiome on to their kiddos. So it's really exciting to me to see this become more talked about, more commonplace maybe per se, but yeah, it's just becoming a lot more out there. So anything else that you want to share, please?
Even just in the last week, Kelly and I had a conversation about my 7-year-old grandson who's having some health issues right now. And I sat down and ordered the kids line for him, and we're going to get him started and see if that will help him out too. I just have a lot of faith in the products. They're good.
Yeah. Andrea, I can see her nodding. Andrea, you should speak up, because you've got your kids on the products too with success, correct?
Yep. Yeah, we started using, before there was ever a kids line. My oldest was probably, probably 4 when he started using the products. And this was before he could swallow. I gave him ProBio 5, and I just opened it up and put it in his yogurt. And now the only one who's not taking the ProBio 5 is Hope. She's 4, and I have she's on the kids vitamins and sometimes takes a drink, but I even noticed once I bumped her up to 2 kids vitamins, she's so much more regular than she was before. And it's like, she's just, that's so important. And you don't realize it's important until you are regular. And then, you realize how critical it is to your overall gut health. But we've seen improvements from allergies to eczema. And my older 2, before Plexus babies, their gut health was just a wreck when they were little. And my younger 2 that were fortunate to have Plexus when they were in utero and right away at start have much better gut health. So it's just, and I'm so thankful for, all the tools that I have to correct, to help, what we missed out on. We can do the ProBio 5, and I even have one of my kids takes a half a slim as well. So
great. Yeah. That's awesome. Kel, do you have anything else to add, my dear?
I don't. Thanks.
Okay.
Kelly.
Very good. Danette, I just thank you. And I applaud you for taking the time to join us tonight and the courage, because it is kind of scary when you've never done something before, right?
Yeah.
Yep. But we really appreciate it. You know, Plexus is not advertised on TV, on the radio. We are the people that advertise. We ambassadors. That's why we're called ambassadors or VIPs, because these products are shared by word of mouth and by sharing our stories. And just being real, Plexus is full of real people, real stories, changing real lives. And it's very, very special to have you a part of our Plexus community. Again, thank you so much. I just want to take a minute here. Sorry for the rumble strip. We're in a little construction area. Maybe you can straddle the rumble. My driver. I want to just let you all know that we are so excited about how our September Step Challenge has gone this past week. We had amazing participation. And what I really loved the most is people were striving to do their best. And if they didn't hit their goal, they were still getting out there and walking. So I mean, that's already a win right there, you know, and the water goals that I have been watching have been wonderful for people that, you know, maybe got in a good 10 ounces to 24 ounces a day, have doubled or tripled their ounces just in the last week. And so pat yourself on the back if you were a part of our September challenge. And if you weren't, it's not too late to join in the fun. So make sure that you get onto the Healthy Living Facebook page and take some pride in just moving your body a little extra each day and getting that water in. And so congratulations to those of you that have done that. I believe tomorrow we will be sharing some prizes with some of you that participated in that. I also want to let you know real quickly what we have coming up for you this month. You know, we really take a lot of pride in our Healthy Living group about creating a community of health. We don't just talk about plexus. We talk about healthy living. And so when we do challenges every now and again with our team in our community in this group, we're trying to build a healthier lifestyle. And one of the things that's going to come up, and you'll see it tomorrow, is something we call habit stacking. And so now we worked a whole week with getting our steps in and our water in, and we want you to continue with that, those two healthy habits. And we're going to stack onto those two healthy habits with adding a little bit more exercise in. Now, this is, if it's a 5-minute laying on the floor, getting some crunches in, that counts. If it's while you are cooking dinner and frying up some hamburger on the stove or what have you, doing a few squats while you're standing right there by the stove, that counts. So whatever you can do to add to your already two amazing habits, it's going to count. So I want you all to get really creative in your day. And I want you to remember that the Healthy Living Group is a community group. It's not just for us that are doing this a little more as a business to post in. You guys can all post your wins and your challenges in this group. This is our community to support one another, okay? So I want to see you in the next week talk about the creative ways that you are getting a little extra exercise in, okay? Then next week, we're going to add in some healthy eating habits. So we're going to continue to stack habits throughout this month of September. I just want to tell you a little bit about what I've learned in the past through stacking habits. You know, a lot of our actions, our daily actions, are driven by habits and routines. And, you know, if you want to change a behavior, you have to have or you will have a better chance of achieving that by thinking about how to make it a habit versus how to just make it a resolution or a goal. How many of you have set New Year's resolutions year after year after year to only find yourself in February or maybe at the end of January not continuing on to strive toward those goals and those resolutions? Well, that's why we're throwing the resolutions out the window, and we're going to get better at habit stacking. So on an average, 40% of our habits are habitual. Think about yourself, you know, brushing your teeth in the morning or just showering. I was thinking about that today, and it's like, okay, when I jump in the shower, I don't think about what I'm going to do first, second, or third. It's a habit. I always wash my hair. No, I take that back. I brush my teeth in the shower, which is kind of weird, I know, but I do that first, and then I wash my hair, and then I wash my face, but I don't think about it. It's just something that I do. And so that's what we're trying to create with this September challenge of habit stacking. And when we do that, we are 80% more likely to continue on down that route. So let's cheer each other on this month by continuing with that, and, you know, get real active in our healthy living group. Make comments. Let's support one another, because that's what this is all about. Cal, there's one other thing that I wanted to touch on. Can you talk maybe a couple seconds, and then we will say goodnight to everybody, about what's coming up as far as what were we going to talk about again?
Well, we were going to talk about those who are wanting to share or have thought about maybe sharing. There is also support for you out there too. So don't let that be a scary thing. But if you are really serious about wanting to even know more about it, what it means to do this, maybe as a side gig, as your little stream of fun money or whatever, not only is it gratifying because you're helping people, that is the best part about it, but yes, there is income to be made. So there's a group called Silver and Six. And if you know anything about like the rank up, silver is the first rank, and it's how to go silver in 6 days? Yeah, in 6 days. So it's to get these people on board with you, running with you, and getting healthy with you. And it's great information. The group runs often. But if that's something you want to be added to, please reach out to your sponsor or me or Kelly or Danette or anybody on this call and let us know, because we would be pleased to run with you in that group and show you the ins and outs of that. It was thoughtfully put together. The content, it's very applicable in everyday everything. So yeah, great group.
Well, thank you, Kel, for sharing that. And, you know, one thing I love about Plexus is there's no hidden agenda and there's no pressure to do this as a business. You can casually share with your friends and family just because you love them. But this Silver and Six, what it is a step-by-step, like Kelly said, just to help you and guide you on how to do that and how to use your referral link and share with your friends and family so they can get healthy alongside you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. We love you. And cheers to healthy living and habit stacking. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks.